On June 30th, 2013, 19 members of the Granite Mountain Hotshots were killed fighting the Yarnell Hill Fire in Arizona when the fire suddenly changed direction and overran their position. The Yarnell Hill Fire tragedy shocked the nation. In this video, we will cover a brief and basic history of the events on June 30th, 2013. You will be able to find much more detailed information from various sources. Finally, we will walk the Granite Mountain Hotshot Memorial State Park Trail to the location where the Hotshots lost their lives. In 2013, the drought index in Arizona was at extreme drought levels. This level of drought made for a potentially hazardous wildfire season. On June 28, 2013, late in the afternoon, a dry lightning strike ignited a fire near the town of Yarnell, Arizona. The area had not had a wildfire since the late 1960s, and the native chaparral brush in the area was 1 to 10 feet tall and in some areas so dense it was impenetrable. The fire was currently under an acre in steep and rocky terrain. With nightfall and this information, no firefighting was dispatched to the area during the night. On the morning of June 29th, air tankers began dropping fire retardant to contain the fire, which was now roughly 2 acres. Also, a small crew of firefighters were dispatched to the area to develop a fire break. The fire was being contained for most of the day until late in the afternoon when the winds increased and the fire grew to roughly 6 acres. During the evening, the weather and darkness restricted the use of air tankers. During the night, the fire grows to over 100 acres. Additional resources are requested as the fire continues to grow and could possibly affect the town of Yarnell and Peoples Valley. The Granite Mountain Hotshots were ordered to create an anchor line on the south end of the fire very near where it originally had started. Numerous other resources had been dispatched to various locations to help contain the fire. One member of the Granite Mountain Hotshots was placed as a lookout should the fire change direction and put the team in danger. At the anchor point, the fire is active, but the Hotshots have been moving with it and controlling it. The fire is now over 300 acres and growing towards Peoples Valley. At roughly 3:30 p.m., the fire begins to experience a wind shift and turns back towards the south. At approximately 3:50 p.m., the lookout lets the Granite Mountain Hotshots know that the fire is approaching his location and that he is moving back from the area. The fire is growing quickly, and just after 4 p.m., the Granite Mountain Hotshots announce over the radio that they are heading to their escape route towards the Boulder Springs Ranch, their safe zone. Other crews believe the Hotshots are going to stay in what is known as the black or previously burnt areas, but the Hotshots take a route over unburnt vegetation. Their exact route will never truly be known, but the best hypothesis is they followed the ridgeline, keeping an eye on the movement of the fire as they moved towards the ranch. When they finally reached the area of the ridge where they could see the ranch, it looked fairly close, and they quickly descended down the ridge towards the ranch. Once they dropped down from the ridge, they could no longer track the progress of the fire. The fire was now picking up speed, moving up the ridge and around towards the ranch. It is roughly 4:45 p.m. The Granite Mountain Hotshots are now cut off from getting to the Boulder Springs Ranch, and the fire is turning towards their location and moving quickly in the dry brush. It is estimated that from the time they saw the fire to the time it reached them, it was less than 2 minutes. The 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots deployed their emergency shelters in an attempt to survive their approaching wildfire. Other teams attempted to locate and assist the Granite Mountain Hotshots but were unable to locate their position. At shortly after 6 p.m., the Granite Mountain Hotshot location is found. A paramedic arrives on the scene and confirms that all 19 Hotshots did not survive. The Yarnell Hill Fire would continue to burn, covering over 8,000 acres, and would not be declared 100% contained until July 10, 2013. The Yarnell Hill Fire is the 6th deadliest American firefighter disaster in history and the deadliest wildfire in the state of Arizona. Arizona Governor Jan Brewer made a statement of condolences and ordered the flags in Arizona to be flown at half-staff on July 19th. President Barack Obama issued a statement praising the 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots as heroes. On July 2, 2013, more than 3,000 people attended the public memorial service. In 2016, the Granite Mountain Hotshot Memorial State Park was dedicated as a place to remember the 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots that lost their lives on June 30, 2013. As you walk the trail, each Granite Mountain Hotshot has a memorial marker that details their life. The hike is approximately 3.5 miles from the trailhead to the fatality site and a total of 7 miles round trip. The trail is rugged, but the views are spectacular. All along the way, there are informational plaques. As you get closer to the ridgeline near the fatality site, you will get to see and understand what these men were dealing with during the fire. When you reach the memorial site, it is a powerful and emotional experience. The crosses at the memorial are positioned where each of the 19 Granite Mountain hotshots were found. As you look at the landscape, you begin to understand the difficulty of moving in and around this area. Visitors have set up a memorial for the fallen. I urge everyone to visit this site to reflect on the Granite Mountain hotshots, their service, and their sacrifice. The Granite Mountain hotshots.